Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Manchester City are facing more potential charges. I don't know whether they're playing darts. They're on a 115. They could be going for a 180. Because I tell you what, this is what they're saying this morning in the Times. A mystery figure from the United Arab Emirates paid Man City 30 million to cover sums that were supposed to have come from one of their main sponsors. This is apparently coming from a leaked UEFA report. Also, Manchester City are about to announce revenue for the second year in a row that puts them as the number one earning football club in the Premier League and the number one potentially in the world. Around £700 million of revenue. How are they doing that? How are they doing that? How have they got the fan base? Why are they getting those commercial deals? We'll talk about that, because I've got an interesting twist that I don't think Man City are going to get in trouble. But we'll talk about that in a minute, because first of all, we're going to talk about Manscapes. And while Manchester City might be trimming something to make their revenue look bigger, you can be trimming your grass to make the yard look bigger with the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Electromagnetic induction charging, which means you just drop it in the port. There's no wires. You take it out. You're ready to go. It's got a light for a more precise shave. It's waterproof, adjustable lengths on it. Absolutely fantastic. Precision engineering for your family jewels. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FOOTY. Links in the description, or scan the QR code. You can also get the weed whacker for your nose if you're at a certain age. And also they've got performance package where you can get deodorants and all sorts of stuff like that. Fantastic products from Manscaped. We've been working with them for a while and they really are brilliant. So especially this time of year, get yourself tidied up. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. 20% off with the code FOOTY and free worldwide shipping. Check that out. Big shout out to Manscaped. But from Manscaped to Man City, this is just working so well. Let's talk about this. So we know that Manchester City have got charges against them at the moment for 115 charges, and this relates to, you know, potential wrongdoings between the period of basically when they were invented in 2008 and I think it's about 2019. Now, what this is all about is potential new charges because of what they've been doing since then in recent years. Now, I've got an interesting take on this. Have the Premier League got any teeth? I genuinely do think Man City will get away with this. I do. That's just a hunch. I don't know why. But I actually think that, you know, looking at Man City over the last 3 or 4 years and trying to find wrongdoings, I think will probably end up being a wasted effort. And I'll tell you why. Man City are going to post profits, revenue, whatever you want to call it, of £700 million very soon if they've not done it already. That is more than any other Premier League club has ever done in history. How are Manchester City doing that when they cannot fill every ground, every game they have? They don't sell out every ground. Now, and that, people may say, well, that doesn't really matter, but it's reflective. It's reflective of a fan base. The bigger your fan base is, the more revenue you make. That's always been the thing. Liverpool make good money. Man United make very, very good money. Arsenal make good money. You know, it's a very simple formula. The more eyes you have as a football club with fans, the more interested sponsors and brands are. That's how it works. Manchester City's revenue is made up of around 50% commercial deals. The rest of it is match day, and which is quite small, but that's for most clubs, not just Man City, and TV broadcasting. So Man City are making 50% in commercial deals, which means commercial people are getting in contact with them and saying, we want to pay you a lot of money. And Man City is saying, we want a lot of money. But they don't have the... Look, when I pick the newspaper up, I don't pick up a newspaper anymore, but you know, if you do pick up a newspaper up or you go on social media, let's be honest, it's never Man City. It's not. The last few weeks, the only reason Man City have been mentioned is because they were mentioned in relation to Declan Rice. But there was no hype like there was with Arsenal. Arsenal all over social media, their fans about Declan Rice. Not a lot from Man City fans. You don't hear a lot about Man City. They don't sell the headlines like Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, even a Chelsea. So when they're getting these massive commercial deals, bigger than Man United, bigger than Arsenal, it doesn't make sense. And it never has made sense. And that's why it's important that these charges that the FA have put against them hopefully expose that it never made sense, the disproportionate funds, etc., that they've apparently done. But I think their recent success, forget about it. They've just won the treble. They've just won the treble. They've just won the league for 3 years in a row. If Mr. Rolex comes along and says, we want to give you £50 million a year to be your watch sponsor, people can't look at that and go, that's unreasonable, because Man City can quite rightly say, we've just won the treble. We're the best team in the world. We've just won the league 3 years in a row. So I think looking at their commercial revenue now will always look weird, because for me, it was built on years of being weird. But ultimately, the years of their weird commercial deals have afforded them the opportunity to build the club they've got now. And the club that they've got now is winning major things, which justifies major revenue from commercial deals. So I hope that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is then, I think people are fishing at Man City trying to find wrongdoing now. I don't think you find any wrongdoing in the last 4 or 5 years from their commercial revenue deals, whatever, because they've been winning things. And you can justify getting a big brand to come in and pay what they'd pay Man United, they pay Man City, because Man City are a success. Where the dodgy ground is that first 10 years where they went from being a small club comparative to the top 6 to getting these revenue and commercial deals that the top 6 were getting when they weren't that club. So I think that is where the eyes have to be, and how long these 115 charges take to be investigated and charged or let go. And that's where your hope lies with Manchester City. Do I think they're about to get any new charges added to their 115? I'd be very surprised, because that would be arrogance, stupidity, naivety from Manchester City, knowing they're being investigated, to carry on doing those practices when ultimately they don't really need to. Because if I'm their commercial manager and we've just won the league 3 years in a row and we just won the treble, I don't need to pull in a favour and get an inflated commercial deal, because I can justify an inflated commercial deal based on what the team is doing. The issues were they were getting inflated commercial deals, allegedly, for the 10 years where they shouldn't have got that. But I still would concede that Manchester City, for the second year in a row, have the biggest revenue in the Premier League. More than Man United, more than Liverpool, more than Arsenal. And that really still is incredible. But, you know, there's enough charges there for the Premier League to have some teeth. Have they got any teeth, or will Man City find a way through it? If they find a way through it, which is what I expect, then I think we live in this world where, you know, ultimately football lost its morals a long time and sold its soul to money. And if money wins through on this, money wins through. Newcastle have got a lot of money. Man United could have a lot of money coming in soon with Qatar. If you're Spurs or Arsenal or Liverpool and you don't want to go down that route, that's a moral choice for you, but you will not win things. That's just the way football's going. It would be nice to see the game cleaned up in the sense that we don't want to see immoral practices around revenue streams, etc. But, you know, at the end of the day, unfortunately, you know, the organisations, whether it's UEFA, FIFA or the Premier League, let's be honest, there are people that just don't trust them when it comes to money investigations. So, look, the reality is, I think the only way to stop Man City at the moment in a footballing sense is to, you know, follow their blueprint, you know, get very rich owners and go down that road. Because I think if you're holding off, waiting for some, you know, I don't know, justification around what they do and they're going to get found out and they're going to get relegated. One thing that the Premier League has proven over the last 20 years, and one thing that Saudi Arabia is proving now and the MLS has proved, and China, is that money can buy you the World Cup. Money can buy you any player, really. There's no limit to what money can do. And the Premier League invented that, really. They made football about money. Are they really going to come down on a club that, you know, is successful off money? We'll have to wait and see. I'm interested to see your comments. Some people are going to come in on this either way. Some people are going to be a little bit like me. I think you've got to look at the 115 charges. You're not going to catch them out for anything in the last few years, because they should be able to justify those big commercial deals now, being the best team in the world. So, look, let's wait and see. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one. And don't forget to get Manscaped 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FOOTY. Links in the description.